Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna, Sri Krishna. Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Guru Sakshat Parabrahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Discrimination in every area gives us the right perception. For example, we eat something, let us say we eat a sweet meat. Now the sweet taste and the joy that we get, where from it comes? So an ignorant person will easily say, what is there to think about? You people unnecessarily make things complicated. It comes directly from the sweet. See, from the sweet you get the sweetness, not the joy. When the same sweet is given to somebody who doesn't like sweet, then he doesn't get joy. So, the sweet meat gives us sweet but not joy. Then where from the joy comes? So, the understanding of the wise man is, it is my own inherent bliss that I superimpose on the worldly objects, and when I eat the sweet, the joy of eating sweet is not coming from the sweet, but it is coming from me, the self. This is the basic difference between the wise and the otherwise person. So here, this happiness is of what kind? When we talk about sukham, happiness, what kind of happiness? So we have seen yesterday, there are 4 kinds of happinesses. 3 belong to the Prakriti, the matter, the Tamasic Sukham, Rajasic Sukham and the Sattvic Sukham. And the 4th one is the one which is uncorrupted. Sattvic, Rajasic, Tamasic comes and goes, it is temporary and it is dependent on something. So if a lazy person doesn't get the chance to lazy out, he has to do some work, then he suffers. So the tamasic happiness has gone. An indulgent person, if he doesn't get the worldly objects to indulge, then he becomes miserable. And a disciplined person, if his discipline is disturbed for something, he becomes miserable. See? So this happiness pertaining to the 3 gunas is dependent, and therefore it is an illusion of happiness. It is not real happiness. Then what is that real happiness or the bliss? Sukham atyantikam yattat buddhigrahyam atindriyam vetti yatra na chaivayam stitaschalati tatvataha. 21st verse the teacher told us. This is atyantikam sukham, the ultimate in bliss. Why it is ultimate? Means, what is the meaning of ultimate? Ultimate means that to which nothing can be improved upon is called as ultimate. So this is an ultimate bliss where nothing can be added and therefore nothing can be taken out. Therefore it is infinite bliss. And this being infinite bliss cannot be comprehended by the finite things like the sleep, the senses or the practice abhyas. And this happiness has to be only recognized, vetti. And once this happiness is recognized, now how to recognize this happiness? The happiness that we are experiencing during the tamoguna nidra alasya. So it is not coming from laziness, but it is our own bliss that we are superimposing on the sleep or the laziness. Because if the laziness and sleep goes, we should become eternally miserable. We don't become. We get into indulgence. There we get some happiness. So everywhere we are getting happiness in this world, but the source is our own self. He who has known this Vyakti, yatra nacha eva ayam tatvataha chalati. So he who is sthitaha, he who is abiding in this eternal bliss, tatvataha sthitaha, he who is abiding in this eternal bliss, na chalati, never he falls back. Up to here we have seen. Now, after having told this, why there is this happiness is called as Atyantikam Sukham, the ultimate in the bliss, because Yam labdhva cha param labham manyate nadhikam tataha yasmin sthito na dukkhena gurunapi vichalyate. Yam labdhva, yam atmalabham labdhva prapya. So here, yam labdhva, yam means what? Atmalabham. Atmalabham is the bliss of the self, because the topic is that of the happiness. So yam labdhva, yam atmalabham labdhva prapya, having attained this, cha aparam anya labhantaram, anyat labhantaram. Therefore, anyal labhantaram. See the sandhi there, ta has become la. So anyal labhantaram tataha adhikam asti iti na manyate na chintayati. Means what? He who has discovered the bliss of the self, he can never even think about any other kind of happiness, and therefore he is steadfast. See, why we get bored in life is only because of this. What is the same house and the same curtains and the same wife and the same furniture? I think we should change it, And there is nothing wrong, You can't have the same stupid stuff with you throughout your life. In the Western culture, they very clearly say that if there is no divorce between husband and wife, then something abnormal. They are not leading a normal life. Normal life is, no human mind can get attracted or can go on with the same thing for a long period of time. It's but natural. So go and change. So all other gauna ananda, all the happiness gained through the gunas is possible to be changed. This is how the people change the jobs, they change the wives, they change the dogs, they change the houses, they change their place of stay. They want a change. Let us go for a vacation. Because wherever they are not content, they are not happy. They want a change. But this bliss of the self, yam labdhva aparam labham na adhikam manyate tataha. For him there is nothing more to be gained in this life. Kimcha, not only that, yasmin atma tattve sthitaha, in this self having got established, dukkhena shastra nipatadi lakshanena guruna mahata api na vichalyate. Even if the heavens fall on him, he will never be disturbed. This is called as the bliss. This is called as self-realization. This is called as happiness. Yatra chaivatmanatmanam pashyan atmani tushyati. In the 20th verse, Bhagavan said, having attained this, he is totally content. Now this contentment is explained in these next 3 verses. First, with reference to happiness. Second, with reference to existence. And third, with reference to the knowledge. So, there is eternal bliss, there is eternal existence, and there is eternal wisdom. No question of any compromise. And therefore, yasmin atma tattve sthite dukkhena shastra nipadadi lakshanena. Shastra nipadadi lakshanena means what? Even if somebody hits you with the sword, guruna, tremendous, very heavy, mahata, dukkhena api na vichalyate. Swami Khandanji tells, Guruna api na vichalyate means what? Even if Guru tries to make you miserable, you don't become miserable. You make the Guru miserable. See how beautiful it is. And this is how, one principle I tell you, this happens, and I don't do it anything purposely, any time. But it happens. Sometime, with some people, just a situation has to be created. Unless an ideal situation is created, they don't understand. There are 2 types of, the student, the seeker. One kind of seeker is the one you tell and it is over. Very clearly understood, no difficulty. The other type, you tell and only arguments. And third, you tell, there is neither understanding nor argument. There is misunderstanding. Now to the third category of people, a situation has to be created. Like Bhagavad Gita, Arjun Maharaj. Bhagwan was with Arjun for how many years? Never ever he thought of something higher. 12 years he did all tapasya, pashupadyastra and everything. But regarding the Atma Jnana, Then Bhagwan thought, no, how to tell this fellow is so busy in this world. Then he created a situation. What is the situation? He took the chariot in front of Dronacharya, Bhishmacharya. Just understand, suppose he has taken this chariot before Duryodhan, there was no need for Bhagavad Gita. So what Bhagwan did? He created a situation. What for? To make Arjun miserable? No. To make him aware of something higher. See? Once we understand this, that every situation in our life is a divine plan for our evolution, then we are the sincere seekers. Therefore here Bhagwan says, Yasmin sthito na dukkhena guruna api vichalyate. Guruna api dukkhena. Even the misery is given by the Guru also, na vichalyate. Because he knows that the teacher can never harm me. See how important it is. Now, yatro paramate ityadi arabhya yavadbhihi विशेषणैः विशिष्टः आत्मावस्था विशेष योगः उक्तः. Now, starting from that yatro paramate chittam, in verse number 28. Now, what is that yoga? What is that yoga where the seeker retires back to his own self? What that yoga is called as? Now here is the most wonderful definition of yoga. And this definition is far better than anybody, including Patanjali. What is his definition? Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sanjnitam sanishchayena yoktavyaha yogo nirvinna chetasam. tam vidyat vijaniyat, know for certain. Vijaniyat. What? Dukkha sanyoga viyogam. Now see how this word is defined by the Lord, by Bhagavan Shankaracharya. Dukkhaihi sanyogaha dukkha sanyogaha. Association with the misery is called a dukkha sanyoga. Then tena viyogo. So although there is association with the misery, yet there is no identification with the misery. There are two things. One is the presence of misery in our life, and the second thing is becoming miserable. So, tena viyogo dukkha sanyoga viyogaha tam dukkha viyoga sanyogam yoga iti eva sannitam viparita lakshanena vidyat vijaniyat ityartha. So, normal meaning of yoga is what? Yoga is identification, association, becoming one with. But here, viparita lakshanena uktam. It is said the other way around. What is the other way around? Is dissociation from the misery is yoga. See? Now you will at least accept what I am telling. Refuse to be miserable. This is the highest spiritual practice. But we don't understand somehow or the other. Don't justify, don't accept that you are miserable. Refuse. It is all only a mental hallucination. We only imagine. See, the other day I was just playing fool with one girl. She was, very highly educated, very smart, very intelligent. And because of the parents, she has made a very peculiar picture about her. That there is no one beautiful more than her, no one intelligent than her. She got married, got divorced, everything is there. So, when our parents were telling me about it, I just was totally indifferent to her, not even looking at her. I just observing what is happening. And then she, excuse me, tuck, 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 she went in her room. And then I had my food and all that. I said, hey, why she has not taken food? Swamiji, probably she got hurt. So why? You did not pay sufficient attention to her. I said, call her. I wanted to see the whole thing. Please come, sit down. And then I started looking at her and talking to her, everything about her and all that thing. And as a result, my food became totally cold and dry, and my hands became dried and all that. Half it was left. Then her mother said, Swamiji, your food is getting cold. I said, you and your daughter both together make me miserable. I said, now to whom should I give attention? On the dining table, when you sit, who is most important? Food or the people around? Food. So give attention to the food. That is what I was doing. Then your daughter got angry. I am not given much importance. So I corrected my mistake. So I am giving all importance to her. Now you get angry. The food is getting cold. See? All our own imaginations in this world, that we are so and so, we are so and so. And if our image about ourselves does not tally with the image people have about us, there will be a discrepancy. And that discrepancy is called as misery in our life. See? So here's very beautiful definition. Tam vidya dukkha sanyoga vyogam yoga sannitam. When you refuse to be miserable, then only you are established in yoga. Now see in various places in Bhagavad Gita, 2nd chapter, Gatasuna gatasuscha nanu shochanti panditaha. Wise people are never miserable. Who is telling this? Yogeshwara Krishna. Now when you call Bhagavan Krishna Yogeshwara, he can't be miserable. Because anyway I am Yogeshwara, I can't be miserable. You can see the misery that he has gone through his life. Therefore, tam vidya dukkha sanyoga viyogam yoga sannitam. This is called as yoga. Now the most important thing. What is that? Yoga phalam upasamhritya punaha anvarambhena yogasya kartavyata uchyate. So this is another way of looking at the yoga. Yoga phalam upasamhritya. Having told the conclusion about what is the ultimate gain in the yoga is this. Yam labdva na chaparam labham manyate nadikam tataha. He has attained fulfillment. Now punaha again anvarambhena yogasya kartavyata uchyate. And therefore it is necessary that we have to practice this yoga. See? We have to practice this yoga. And how we have to practice? Nishchaya anirvedayoho yoga sadhanatva vidanartham. Nishchaya, with commitment. Anirvedayo. We should not become indifferent to our spiritual practice. How important it is. So, nishchaya anirvedayoho yoga sadhanatva vidhanartham. We have to practice about it. So, yathokta phalo yogo, this phala, this yoga which was said in this verse, nishchayena adhyavasayena yoktavyaha anirvinna chetasa. So, this yoga has to be practiced with all commitment and sincerity, and see the word anirvinna chetasa, without getting bored, I don't know, I am not getting any more, what meditation, let me sleep. Please remember one basic principle, friends. Spiritual life is inspiration 24 hours. Samsaric life is perspiration 24 hours. I don't feel like doing, my mood is off today. Don't talk to me. Then we are the victim of our mind. Again and again remind yourself of this. Anirvinna chetasa. Don't be depressed. Don't have sympathy about yourself. Don't seek attention of the world. Remain cheerful and happy and distribute that happiness. Not sprinkle. Our Swamiji used to say, hosepipe happiness on the world. Flood the whole world by the happiness that you have. So, nishtayena yoktavyaha anirvinna chetasa. Na nirvinnam anirvinnam. Tat kim chetaha. Tad nirveda rahitena chetasa chittena ityartaha. Therefore, one should not be like, be indifferent to everything, like meditation. No. You have to get it sincerely with all regularity. I don't know, I have never asked you. And don't tell me also. Answer this question that I am asking to yourself. How much time most sincerely you spend with yourself in 24 hours? This should exclude sleep. Otherwise 10 hours. So I must make it very clear. 10 hours. Otherwise, very good. Good progress. No progress. Most of the time, we get involved in this and that and this and that. And if we are with ourselves, we keep on talking. Spending time with yourself means absolutely undisturbed. And what is that period? Is the period when you are sitting on the seat of meditation. So if you are sitting once, make it twice, thrice a day. If you are sitting each time 1 hour or half an hour, make it 2 hours or 1 hour. increase the frequency and increase the length. And don't tell anybody else. Meditation progress, don't disturb. In one, ashram, on some brahmachari's room, I was going, I think Kailash ashram, somewhere. He has put a poster. दिया जलता है, जलने दो, बुझाओ मत. So when I read that, I said, is the brahmachari paying the electricity bill or what? When there is no need, switch off. So, ऐसा नहीं इसका मतलब. It doesn't mean that. If somebody is doing meditation, don't disturb. Don't do that all. Find out your own time when you don't belong to the world. And try to get involved with all sincerity. Otherwise, once you start going here and there and sitting in somebody's room and gossiping and all that, there's no end to it. So, nishtena yoktavyaha yogaha anirvinna chetasa. Otherwise, I tell you, you come across many seekers who have completed the course and who give satsang lectures also. But their personal life, if you see, they are all full of I don't know this thing. Are we in this world to set the world right? We have to set ourselves right. One of the campers, he was asking this question. Swamiji, you say we should not worry about others, uddhare atmanan. Then who will take care of the world? I said, that is what I said. Don't worry about the world. So this question doesn't come. No, but then, I said, here's the but then. If you want to do it, do. Nobody stopped you. But this is the principle. Now, which way you take doesn't matter. So even if you are getting involved in the world, yoginaha karma kurvanti sangam tyaktva atma shuddhaye. If your involvement in the world is aimed at your purification, very good, get involved. But your involvement is for improving the world because the world needs my service. Forget about it. World doesn't need any one of us. Nor our knowledge, nor our wisdom. Nothing is required. World is complete in itself. When we don't understand this, and when we grow little bit in our life, and when we come to this point that now all the sons they are married and gone, all the daughters they are married and gone, the grandchildren don't want, and then husband and wife, I'm frustrated, and after some time out of the two, one wicket down, and the other person remains all loneliness. I am not wanted by anybody. See? If this we realize right in the beginning of our life, that we are never wanted anywhere. Focus attention on the self. That is important. So, how do we do this? Continuing further. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan sheshataha manasaivedriya gramam viniyamya samantataha. संकल्प प्रभवान संकल्पः प्रभवः येषां कामानां ते संकल्प प्रभवः कामाः त्यान त्यक्त्वा. Now be very attentive. There are two types of desires. You are exposed to the heat, dryness, and therefore you are thirsty. This is not a desire born out of sankalpa. You have not been eating for last 7-8 minutes and therefore you are hungry. So when your stomach is demanding food out of hunger, this is not a desire born out of sankalpa. Now what is the sankalpa? Sankalpa is, I think, they are doing this thing, they are doing that thing, Now we must have a very good school and we will have this thing. All our children are spread all over the world, Indians, and to give them proper samskar. So let us have a school, and then there is no end to that. They are called as sankalpa prabhavan kaman. Tyaktva sarvan asheshataha. Now see every word. Tan tyaktva parityajya. Parityajya, given up for good. No more sankalpa of doing any good or bad in this world to anybody. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva parityajya sarvan. All of them. All of them is what? Not even thinking of doing good to others. Very difficult to digest this thought. Let goodness happen. The moment you take a sankalpa, I will do good to others, that sankalpa itself will start doing bad to you. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan and asheshataha. Asheshataha, exhaustively, completely. Nirlepena means what? Don't be attached to any of your mental projections. Because once you take any sankalpa, the problem begins. Swami Akhandananda writes, his association with many Mahatmas, and in one place he writes, there was one Swami Shankarananda Avadhut. That Shankarananda Avadhutji Maharaj, he was staying in a, what they call, condemned leftover house. Nobody used to be there. So he used to go and stay there. One, some kind of platform, cemented or stone one, used to be there. Rest, whole thing he has never touched. So, when Swamiji started visiting him, he said, Maharaj, if you permit me, I'll clean the whole place around, because there are so many cobwebs and all spiders here and there. So, dust. He said, this place belongs to them. How beautiful. This place belongs to them. I am an intruder in their place. So don't disturb them. If you feel that I am disturbing them, I will go. How much quietness that mind must be. Nothing in this world initiates any action in your mind. Extremely evolved state of being. As I told you earlier about Ramana Maharshi, this Mahatma Gandhi's followers, they approach him. Why don't you tell your follower devotees to do something for the freedom fight and all that? Now, if you are doing, you do. Why do you bother about others? This is the problem with the social workers. They don't feel happy if somebody is happy. They want to do something and they want everybody to get involved. You do. Why bother about others? No, they are doing. So they approached. Then Bhagavan said that if you see the house on fire in a cinema, will you run with a bucket of water and cement and sand? See? that firm avoidance. Sankalpa prabhavan kaman tyaktva sarvan asheshataha. What will happen as a result? So what are the sankalpa we have? Sankalpa we have that after meditation I will go and sleep for 2 hours, feeling extremely sleepy. And your sankalpa starts functioning right now. See? Or we have sankalpa about doing this or that. Asheshataha. The moment sankalpa is suspended, your mind is still. Further, Kimcha manasa eva viveka yuktena indriya gramam indriya samudayam viniyamya niyamanam krutva samantataha samantat. And then by manasa, by proper discrimination and understanding, indriya gramam, all the senses, viniyamya niyamanam krutva samantataha samantat. All the faculties are well controlled by discrimination, not under obsession. See? Whenever we do something under obsession or ignorance, it does not have a long standing. It will fall. And when something is done with understanding, it remains with you all through. And because of this, there are many seekers who get into the spiritual path and they get so much oscillated here and there. They go to Vrindavan, Sri Radhe. They go to Dwarkadi Bhagwan ke day. You go to that Govardhan, what is that? Giridhara Dharana ki, what is that? Giriraj Dharana ki jai. Nothing else. The other one is Gopi Vallabha ki jai. And when the same person go to Chitrakoot, Krishna chapter over, then there only one thing, and that is Siyavara Ramachandra ki jai. And as a result, like a round bottom flask, sometime here, sometime there, no steadiness. Why this happens? Because the basic thing is not understood. What is the basic thing? Liberation of I or liberation from I. Don't forget this basic principle of your life. Don't try to liberate I. He will never be. So, viveka yukta manasa indriya gramam viniyamya samantataha. Having done this, the next step, shanai shanai uparamet buddhya dhruti gruhitaya atma samstham mana krutva na kinchidapi chintayet. Now, the next step on the seat of meditation. First, shanaihi uparamet manaha. So withdraw the mind slowly and slowly and slowly. Shanaihi. Not suddenly. Many people get headache after meditation. And the reason is, without detaching the mind from the body, when by the sheer force of the prana shakti, you start withdrawing inside, that creates abnormality. And that abnormality is in terms of a headache, in terms of catch, in terms of psychological imbalance, in terms of hallucinations. Then I have started seeing that, I have started seeing this. And then they try to make the artificial Shambhavi Mudra. Little bit. Swamiji, Shambhavi Mudra is like this, na? Half eyes open, I said, if you want to keep the half eyes open, I give you better technique. What is that? Close one eye, open one eye, half. Don't struggle. Struggle is not spiritual practice. Shanaihi, slowly and steadily. Then, the second one, this mind is to be buddhya dhruti gruhitaya. Buddhya by the intellect. Shanaihi na sahasa uparamed uparatim kuryat. Slowly having withdrawn. Then kaya, what by what? Buddhya. Kim vishishtaya? Dhruti gruhitaya. Dhairyena gruhitaya, dhruti gruhitaya, dhairyena yuktaya ityartaha. So, control your mind slowly and steadily by the proper understanding in the intellect. And how the intellect is? It is supported by patience and perseverance. Two things. See, in 18th chapter we get this dhruti. There are three types of dhrutis. First is, I'll tell you first, the tamasic. It is easier to understand. Yaya sapnam bhayam shokam vishadam madamevacha na vimunchati durmedha dhruti sa partha tamasi. What is the tamasic dhruti? Tamasic dhruti is that perseverance and commitment where you continue to be miserable for a long period of time. It is a big job, it's not everybody is possible. Some people can be really miserable very long time. Every time they see start crying. What is that? No, I always remember him or that. And how long? Stop that. They continue to be miserable. And you know, such miserable people, I tell you one thing very clearly. The more miserable you are, the more egoistic you are. It's a very clear equation. Because all the miseries are received only by the ego. In the pure self, there is not a trace of misery. So, this is the tamasic dhruti. Yaya swapnam bhayam shokam vishadam mada na vimunchati. They are all the time talking about the dreams and the fear and grief and frustration and continue. The second type of dhruti, perseverance, is yayatu dharma kamarthan dhrutya dharayate arjuna prasangena phalakankshi dhruti sa partha rajasi. The second type of dhruti is rajasi. What is the rajasic dhruti? Where dharma, artha, kama, these three areas, you are committed and consistently continue. Unless you are committed and consistently continuing, you cannot do any of the karma kanda. Now see, as you are doing the kriya yoga, it is not everybody's job. Because you have to sit there and every day do the same thing, with the same meticulous thing, with the same sincerity. That requires the rajasic dhruti. But one thing is in this rajasic dhruti. What is that? Prasangena phalakankshi. But this person is prasangena, extremely attached to the results. When I do this thing, I am going to get this thing. Because dharma, artha, kama. These are the purushartha he is functioning in. That is the rajasic dhruti. Now the third one, which is referred by Bhagavan in the 6th chapter, dhrutya dharayate arjuna. Now what is the dhruti, third one? Dhrutya yaya dharayate mana pranendriya kriyam yogena avyavicarinya dhruti sa partha sattviki. Sattviki dhruti is that where we keep on the path of yoga abhyas and slowly we hold on to the mind, our pranayam, our asan. Everything is continuously done for a regular, in a regular manner for a long period of time. And yogena vyavicarinya dhrutya. And what is the area? The area is yogabhyas. Many people get tired of yogabhyas after some time because it is involving a lot of commitment. And the commitment is you have no support outside. See, when you do puja, when you do something, there is something to hold on to. When you sit quiet and sit properly, do the pranayam, observe the mind, do different dharanas, either laya prakriya, inquiry, contemplation, silence, observing the breath, depending upon what kind of mood your mind is available. So it requires tremendous patience and complete commitment. So by this dhriti, so buddhya dhriti grihitaya, then atma samstam mana krutva. Now where the mind is to be taken now? The mind is to be taken to the self, atma samstam mana krutva. This is what Bhagwan has told in the in the 13th verse. Sampreksha nasikagram swam dishashchanavalokayan. Look at the tip of your nose. Now if you are looking at the tip of your nose, how can you make the mind atma samstam? See? And therefore, there Bhagavan has given us meaning. Tip of the nose means what? Let your faculties remain stranded where they are. Let them not graze in their own fields. This is the meaning. Atma samstam mana krutva, having focused the mind on the self. So atma samstam atmani samstitam atma eva sarvam na tataha anyat kinchidasti iti evam atma samstam. Now for that mind, there is nothing in this world which can ever attract. All the objective pursuits are totally dropped. Atma samstam mana krutva and na kinchida vichintayet esha yogasya paramo vidhi. And stop thinking about everything. This is what I was telling you. Don't fight with the mind. Yes, it will run away here and there. The moment you detect, bring it back. And again keep quiet. One of the very effective technique I'll tell you. Try to listen to the silence when you are sitting on the seat of meditation. It is a very effective method. Or, if you are sitting in your room at night, pitch darkness. In that pitch darkness, don't sleep, open your eyes and start seeing the darkness. There you will understand what is the meaning of consciousness. Because eyes are open, vision is there, but there is nothing to see. Therefore, that vision, which doesn't have anything to see, is not an objective vision. It is only the vision without an object. J. Krishnamurti, objectless awareness. This is what it is. Try that. If you simply sit quiet with the closed eyes, immediately, like a pop on the monitor of your computer, immediately the mind pops out a screen. And on that screen, we start seeing the whole world. That will not help. Therefore, let the eyes be open. And this is also even waking. This is another method I am telling you. Suppose you are sitting straight away in your own room, daytime, don't close light and all that. And play now. Meditation is a play, it's a game. It's not a torture. You are looking at the door. Then lift your attention from the door and bring to the nearer object and see what exactly is happening. Understand, catch it. Like that, focus attention on the different objects at different places. Then you will understand, oh, this is exactly what the mind is. And then you bring that mind on the eyes, after you have understood what mind is. And when your mind comes on the eyes, suddenly it disappears. And that is the experience of the Shambhavi Mudra. And then because the mind has disappeared, the vision becomes steady. And in that steady vision, the truth alone is revealed. The truth alone is recognized. Therefore, Atma Samstam Mana Kritva Na Kinchid Apichintayet Eshaha Yogasya Paramo Vidhi. This is one of the highest technique of yoga abhyas. Tatra evam Atma Samstam Mana Kartum Pravruttaha Yogi. When this seeker, yogi, is doing this, what happens? Yato yato nischarati manaschanchala tatastato niyamyaitada atmanyeva vasham nayet. Yato yato nishtarati manaha yasmad yasmad nimittat shabdadehe nishtarati nirgachati svabhava doshat. By whatever reason, whatever nimitta, whatever cause, like the worldly objects, sound, etc., the mind runs in the worldly objects. What is the reason? Svabhava doshat. Hey, this is one another beautiful thing, please observe in your life. Many times you must have seen what is called Swabhava dosha. I am trying to tell you. Suppose you are sitting here and I am talking to you, and somebody comes there and I tell him, what will be your reaction? What a great urgent thing. Now, why this happens? Because we are not aware, and this is happening. Like some people talk to you, they are not aware that you are not interested. See, they are not aware about it. They keep on talking. Whether the other fellow listens or not, it doesn't matter for them. And then such people become bored. See? That awareness has to increase. And therefore, yato yato nischarati manaha. Whenever the mind has gone here and there, be aware. Hey, mind has run away. Be aware. Then, tato manaha chanchalam asthiram. So what is the swabhava, nature of the mind? Chanchalam atyartham chalam iti eva. So it is extremely unsteady. And asthiram tataha tasmat shabdade nimittat. And therefore it is asthiram. It is never steady, extremely unsteady. Niyamya, having controlled, tat nimittam yathatme nirupanena avhasi kritya vairagya bhavanaya. Now see how the mind is to be controlled from the concerned objects. The method is yathatmya nirupanena. Educate the mind. What is that? Suppose something is disturbing you. You are sitting on the seat of meditation, somebody said to you something, but you cannot say anything. Then what you do? You go on talking to yourself inside. He raises a question, you reply, and then he raises a question. And this dialogue goes on and on and on, and you get totally disgusted. Instead of that, postpone. Instead of talking in the mind to myself, I will get up afterwards and talk it out, okay? Now for the time being, let us keep ourselves to meditation. Okay, again sit. But this is not the first time, this has always happened with me. Okay, never mind. Next time we'll work it out. This is what is meant by the yathatmya nirupanena. Educate the mind about the truth. Yatha atma nirupana tena nirupanena yathatmya nirupanena. That's a bhava. So tatta nimittam yathatmya abhasi krutyam vairagya bhavanaya. Then how this nirupan, when you are educating the mind, what should be the education? Education should be, yes, under your condition, everybody would have been miserable. That is not education, that is the sympathy. Education is that which takes you out of misery. Isn't it? Don't have that wrong understanding. Many of us get caught up in the self-pity. No, don't justify your miseries. And therefore, Vairagya Bhavanaya. What is the Vairagya Bhavanaya? See, I was so touched yesterday. One of our person here, he was supposed to come and do something, electrical thing in my room. And he could not come because his wife is not well. So I said, okay, don't worry, take your own time. I am never in a hurry for anything. So after 2-3 days he came. So I asked him, how is your wife and everything and all that. I said, when I came that day, I was feeling very bad. She is in a really bad condition. So, whatever help you feel I can give you, please tell me. I'll definitely like to help you. You know, cheerfully said, no, Swamiji, I have seen worse times than this. When I was small, 7 years old, my mother died. So, at that age only, we had to take care of everything. And then after a few years, the father died. I was the eldest. So I had to look after all the other brothers. That time I was hardly 16, 17 years. So I have seen so many worse things in my life. This is nothing. This is I am able to continue. This is called as education. So when we are able to thus help Vairagya Bhavanaya, this happens in life. So, etad manaha atmani eva vasham nayet. And in this manner, control your mind by proper education and instruction. Atmani eva vasham nayet. Atma vashyatam apadayet. Now be very attentive. Atma vashyatam apadayet means what? Let the mind not take you for a ride. You ride on the steed of the mind. See? If you have to keep the mind under the control, so what is the what you call signs? Yada hi nendriyartheshu na karma svanusajjate sarva sankalpa sannyasi yoga arudhas tadochyate. See? When the mind is no more attracted, influenced by any of the worldly things, nor attached, influenced, involved in any of the activities of the life, then this is called yoga arudha. So atma vasyatam apadayat. Evam yogabhyasa balad yoginaha atmani eva prashamyati manaha. In this manner, by yogabhyasa bala, by the strength of the regular practice of meditation, the seeker is able to establish his mind in the self. And this will not happen overnight. We have to be regular, sincere, dedicated to this cause and continue throughout your life. Now, when thus we continue, now what happens thereafter? Prashanta manasam yenam yoginam sukhamuttamam upaiti shantarajasam brahma bhutama kalmasham. Prashanta manasam, prashantam mano yasya sa prashanta manaha tam. Prashanta manasam, to that yogi whose mind is now beyond the influence of the quietness and the disturbances. Quietness doesn't add anything to him. Disturbances do not take away the peace from him. Such a yogi, prashanta manasam, enam yoginam, uttamam sukham, upaiti, upagacchati. Uttamam sukham. Uttamam sukham is niratishayam. See again, see this word uttamam. The sukha of indulgence in this world is rajasic sukha. The sukha of laziness and sleep is tamasic sukha. The sukham of abhyasa is the sattvic sukha, and that sattvic sukha is here referred as uttamam sukham. Abhyasa dramate yatra dukkhantam cha nigacchati. So prashanta manasam yenam yoginam sukham uttamam upaiti shantarajasam. Who is this yogi? He is shantarajasam. Prakshina mohadi klesharajasam ityarthaha. Now he is prakshina mohadi klesha. All the miseries born out of the delusion and wrong understanding are completely gone. And such a person, Brahma Bhutam Jivan Muktam Brahma Eva Sarvam Iti Evam Nishchayavantam Brahma Bhutam Akalmasham Adharmadi Varjitam. And then, after having attained through this practice of yoga, then the last step is he attains oneness with the Parabrahma Paramatma while living itself. So, Jivan Muktam Eva Brahma. While living itself, he attains the oneness with Absolute. And who is this? Akalmasham, Adharmadi Varjitam. He has no more limitations of dharma, adharma, cause, effect, etc. Now, such a yogi has to continue this sadhana. Yunjannevam sadatmanam.
Yunjannevam sadatmanam.
Yogi vigata kalmashaha. Sukhena brahma sansparsham. Atyantam sukhamashnute. Yunjan evam yathoktena kramena. Thus, engaging yourself in the sequence and the methodology that is explained till the last verse. Yunjan evam yathoktena kramena yogi yogantaraya varjitaha. Yogi is who is he? Yoga antaraya varjitaha. See, what is the meaning of antaraya? This word we have seen where? We have seen this word in our Patanjali Yoga Darshan. There, in the first Samadhi Pad, this word comes. Vyadhi, Sthana, Samshaya, Pramada, Alasya, Avirati, Bhranti, Deha, Labdha, Bhumitvad, Avasthiti, Avastitatvani, Chitta Vikshepaha, Te Antarayaha. See, it comes there. So what is the Antaraya? Antaraya is all those obstacles which are born because of identification with the mind and the subsequent follow-up. Their antaraya means obstacles. So here, Shantarajasam Prakshina Moha Kleshadi Varjitam. So, Adharmadi Varjitam Brahma Bhutam. Therefore, he who has given up yoga in the 28th verse. Yunjannevam yathoktena kramena yogi yogantaraya varja. Antaraya means obstacle. Which are the obstacles in the yoga abhyas? These are about a dozen of them. One is vyadhi, second is sthana, third is samshaya, fourth is pramada, fifth is alasya, sixth is avirati, no interest, seventh is bhranti, eighth is darshana alabdha, never any experience of meditation. And in this manner, these are the various chitta vikshepa, disturbances in the mind. They are called as the they are called as yogantaraya. So, yunjannevam yathoktena kramena yogi yogantaraya vachitaha sada atmanam vigata kalmasha vigata papaha sukhena anayasena brahma samsparsham brahmanaha parena samsparshaha yasya tad brahma samsparsham sukham atyantam antam atitya vartate iti atyantam utkrishtam niraticham sukham ashnute vyapnoti. So what the teacher is telling, such a yogi who is practicing this practice of meditation regularly again and again, rising above the possible obstacles, sada, all the time, atmanam vigata kalmashaha, and he who has freed himself from the kalmasha, the papa. Now what are the papa for the yogi? Alasya nidra, pramada, these are the papa. Vikshepa, this is the papa. Expectation of the result as a result of meditation. When I do this thing, this I will get. These are all the papa. So he who has given up all the sins, sukhena. Sukhena means anayasena, without any effort. Friends, on the contrary, effortlessness is the state of happiness. Wherever there is any effort, there is discomfort. Therefore, anayasena brahma samsparsham brahmanaha parena samsparshaha yasya tad brahma samsparsham. That as if he has gone and touched the absolute reality. What is the meaning of touching the absolute reality? Gangaji goes and meets the Ganga Sagar. So that time what must be the experience of Gangaji? Now no more running. I have reached the destination. And in that no more running and giving up reaching the destination, what Gangaji does? Gives up the name and the form. Individuality is totally dissolved. That is the meaning of Brahma Samsparsham. And that Sukham is Atyantam. So what is the real ultimate happiness? When you lose yourself totally, that is the infinite happiness. And this we do every day. In deep sleep we lose ourselves completely. And therefore we are happy. And in the same manner, if our individuality, ego, is completely dissolved in this process of yoga abhyas, then we attain the supreme bliss. Atyantam. Antam atitya vartate iti. That bliss, that happiness, which does not end. Therefore, atyantam. Antam atitya crosses, transcends the limitation of death. That means it is ever present. Therefore, atyantam utkrishtam niratishayam. It also means utkrishtam niratishayam. There cannot be anything superior than the atishaya and niratishaya. Atishaya means maximum. Niratishaya means there is nothing more that can be added to this happiness. Nirtisha sukham ashnute vyapnoti. Now here the word ashnute does not mean that he gets. No. Ashnute means he merges in the bliss. So it is not that he continues to be separate and then he has become happy. No, he doesn't become happy. He is happiness. See the difference in understanding. Sukhena brahma samsparasham atyantam sukham ashnute. And therefore, for such a yogi, all the struggle of life has come to an end. So he is having a totally different experience of his being. Earlier he has gone through the process of struggle for the individual to do the yoga abhyas. And the struggle for the individual to do the yoga abhyas ultimately dissolves the individual along with his struggle, and therefore, thereafter, effortless existence alone is the experience. Sukham atyantam ashnute. So what is the spiritual practice therefore totally? As long as we consider ourselves to be limited, incomplete, we have to put efforts, regularly do the yoga, abhyas, etc. And as you start becoming more and more mature, your understanding is very clear, you are able to practice that understanding 24 hours in your life becomes totally effortless. This is what is called as the Sahajavastha. Sahajavastha is Sahaja. This is what we were at the time of birth. There was no impurity. We were as it is. Therefore, Atyantam Sukham Ashnute. You know, this Mahatmaji who had come that day, he preaches about the Sahaj Yoga. And he gives only one mantra, and he says, you don't worry about anything. Simply go on chanting the mantra for crores of times. Then by the mantra Shakti, the Kriya will start in you automatically. You don't have to do anything. All the Kriyas will start, and the Kriyas will be different for every person. Somebody may be having the visions, somebody may hear the sounds, somebody may get the horripilation, somebody may start crying, somebody may start becoming stone-like. All these Kriyas will be initiated in you because of the power of the mantra. And slowly, all these Kriyas are nothing but process of purification. And when the purification has attained the completeness, thereafter your individuality has merged and your life becomes totally effortless. This is how the Yoga Abhyas tells us, that ultimately we have to attain the state of effortlessness. Unless we attain the state of effortlessness, there is no joy in living. Throughout life we keep on struggling. Balastavat kridasaktaha, tarunastavat taruniraktaha, vruddhastavat chintasaktaha, parame brahmane kopinasaktaha. And therefore, let us keep these as the ultimate in our life. How long are we going to struggle? And when the Sahaja Bhava is appreciated, then you will see the struggle disappears. This Sahaj Bhava is different from laziness. It is not laziness. It looks like laziness, but it is not. The Sahaja Nanda, he who has, is ever alert, extremely aware. In case of laziness, we become inadvertent. There is no knowledge, there is no understanding, and simply in the indolence, no. So, Sukhena Brahma Samsparsham Atyantam Sukhamashnute. Now hereafter, in the next 3 verses, I think next 3 verses, yes, Bhagwan Sri Krishna gives that such a yogi, the cinema is not yet over. The story of the Yoga Abhyasa is not complete. Please understand this. Such a yogi thereafter comes to the next step. And what is that next step? The next step is Brahmatmaikya Bodha. Unless the Brahmatmaikya Bodha takes place, we have not completed our spiritual practice. See? Where from we started? Sit quietly on the seat of meditation. From there we started slowly, and we have come to the state of Sahajavastha. The Sahajavastha is not going to last long. Again we may fall victim back to the body identification, because the moment you stop your practice, it will all go away. But when you have attained perfection in yoga, now that perfected, well-controlled mind is now engaged in inquiry about the self. And when that mind is engaged in inquiry about the self, the result is that one is able to discover Brahmatmaikya Bodha. And that is what is the ultimate in the yoga and not what we have seen up to here. That topic we'll take in our next class. Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.